I've had it smooth, I can say. But co-parenting, there's one thing that it's going to help you work on yourself as well, because you can't force anything on anybody. So what I know I can't force that on my daughter's mother, but I can create those conversations and try to get to that foundation of communication to values, and explain those. I mean, she won't follow me down the esoteric rabbit holes, but bringing it down to values, because values are so easy to explain. Moral values, the basics. Exactly, for sure. So we agree on those, and which is crucial. And it's a partnership, and don't want to make it hard on yourself. So there's compromise and there's patience. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have had quite the experience with this, and I'm still very much in the process of navigation. I'm fairly easy to work with. My son's mother is a bit more stubborn, and has, as Logan can, vouch for, has not necessarily made things easy at all. So I love that you said that it's just another chance for reflection. In astrology, we can look at the houses. The first house is the sense of self. What's directly across from that? The seventh house, the relationships. Mm-hmm. Our relationships and our interactions in the world are actually what allows us to test ourselves. Like the self that hasn't interacted with others is an untested self. Mm-hmm. So even a very difficult co-parenting situation like mine, that I could get into all sorts of craziness, but it has not been easy at all. Even with my skills and knowledge and awareness and willing to work, it is a challenge constantly. But that really allows me to test myself. It's these Saturnian lessons that can be very difficult. They feel like you're being crushed, and you can feel stuck sometimes, but that's what makes you have to look at, okay, why is this happening? What were the causal factors? Where was cosmic law at play here? Where was my lack of awareness leading me to situations that, are situations that weren't my ideal outcome? Because it has to come back to self-responsibility. If I hadn't have made certain choices, then I wouldn't have to be dealing with that certain person, So, it's all a chance for reflection, and it can be a very wonderful process, if it goes smoothly. But even if it's not going smoothly, you ultimately still have your free will and your sovereignty, and you just have to learn to exercise boundaries, and you have to learn to take that chance to reflect and learn, even if the other parent may not do that, because you just have to try to create the best situation you can for the child, So if you can cohesively, like you said, bring it down to values and morals and agree on those things, then that's great. But sometimes you might even have to have the choice of just understanding that, well, you can't control this other person. Just like you said, well, you can't control the other person. So you then have to be like, okay, I'm going to make the best choices I can, because you can only do what you can do. So you just have to become a better example, or really give that opportunity. So then the child then has a choice of okay, where are my values going to lie? What really makes sense to me?
Yeah, I can offer insight from what I've experienced secondhand, as far as what seems to me that what you just said is really the hardest part about being in that situation, is the fact that you can't control that other person. All you can do is worry about you and what you're doing. But I was just thinking about how, okay, in the context of natural law, you have events and people making decisions. There's all these things happening, both from people's direct choices or just things that are happening, like other inanimate objects kind of bouncing off each other. They're creating situations, right? And so what is the situation? Well, it's something that may or may not affect you. If it's a situation, that's your first question. Does it affect me? Is it going to impact me in some kind of way? What you said earlier, Brian, also is that once you're a parent, you don't have that choice. Even if you just run away to the other side of the globe, you're still a parent. You're just a parent that ran away.
A shitty one. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So you're in that situation. with this other person, regardless of that's unchangeable. That's just a fact now. And so there's certain roles, and because that situation is now like this sort of like team dynamic. Well, we're in this situation, so we are responsible for navigating it. And again, I can't imagine how frustrating that must be to have these certain needs, especially when there's an innocent child is the one that's being affected most of all, even beyond the two of you. And you can only control 50% of that situation there.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like trying to offer that, extend that example and going first, saying, I'm willing to do values, meet me here, please. And if they don't, then it becomes a lesson for you to practice letting go of what you can't control, only focusing on yourself. And I mean, you know, maybe trying to insulate yourself from the effects of that other person as well.
Dude, something big just hit me. So in that situation, it's your choice, that 50% that you can control, that's the deterministic factor that you have. The other 50% is the free will and the chaos that's in the universe. So it's order and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And you just are trying to learn to harmonize between those. Yeah, and like you said, you don't always know. Like with magic, you don't always know how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to play out, actually. And that's just the thing, is like you have to try to observe, get as much awareness as you can, try to make the best choices you can, continually observe and refine. And that is the process of
because
development.
Your job is the same either way. All you're trying to do is find equilibrium, find homeostasis, find harmony. It's just up to that person how fucking hard they're gonna make it for you to do that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna work together to fight the chaos of the universe already? Or is she gonna join the chaos and make it just that much harder, and then it's all on you?
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a level of knowing, you know, kind of how to protect yourself and your energy, you know, not getting triggered off of, you know, petty anger or letting the ego get the best of you. So, you know, leading by example and, you know, trying to engage into communication as best as possible. Yeah, I mean, it can be a tough road for people. So,
right.